I'm Libby from Mobile Developer Solutions. Today I'm going to show how to add a PhoneGap plugin for Android to a project. Most of what's shown in adding this plugin to a project applies to all PhoneGap plugins for Android. So learning about this one will help you work with other PhoneGap plugins. A PhoneGap plugin lets you access native functionality in Android not exposed by the PhoneGap JavaScript APIs. To learn more about PhoneGap plugins, start at the PhoneGap Wiki page and go to PhoneGap Plugins under the Documentation section. This gives an overview and describes the architecture of a PhoneGap plugin. There are sections on writing and installing plugins for different architectures. A good place to find PhoneGap plugins is on GitHub. Starting at the top level page for PhoneGap/PhoneGap plugins, I'll navigate to the Android pages. Today we'll install the ChildBrowser plugin. The top-level presentation of the files for a plugin may vary, but an Android plugin will always contain a native part in Java and a JavaScript part, which exposes the JavaScript methods for that plugin. Starting with PhoneGap 1.0, an additional element must be added to the project's plugins.xml file. This describes which plugins are allowed to be called by the app. A README file is usually provided by the author and describes the plugin's functionality, how to add it to a project, and how to use the plugin's methods from your JavaScript. Start by reading the README to get an idea of what functionality the plugin offers and how to add it to your project. A plugin may have additional pieces, like a third-party library, or resources, like image files or a demo program. I can see that the files for the plugin are fairly typical for Android. The source directory in this plugin will contain the Java package and Java code, which make up the native part of the plugin. The www directory in this plugin contains the JavaScript, which will connect to the native code using the PhoneGap plugin architecture and also expose the JavaScript APIs to the app. This plugin happens to have extra files in a directory also called ChildBrowser. As we can see from the README, the ChildBrowser plugin lets you display external web pages within your PhoneGap application. It will create a pop-up browser that is shown in front of your app. When the user presses the back button, they are returned to your app. The plugin has methods that allow you to show the web page, close it, or attach custom handlers for on-close or on-location change events. The hook to catch and respond to the on-location change event make this plugin especially useful to use with third-party authorization like OAuth or OpenID. Next, I want to download this repository. Click on the zip button and the download will start. This will give me the entire PhoneGap/PhoneGap Plugins project from GitHub, so it's actually quite large. This bundle has all the plugins for all architectures, which you'll see when you unzip it. Now we're ready to install the plugin in our project. I've already created a project using the minimal PhoneGap project contents from the AppLaud project creation wizard. Here's my project's index.html file, which already includes the PhoneGap JavaScript, currently version 1.4.1. To make life easier, I like to create a temp folder right here by using the right-click New Folder in Eclipse, and I'll use this directory to hold all of my plugin files. Then I right-click on the new temp directory and select Import to get the plugin files from my local file system into my project. I've already unpacked the plugin files into this directory for convenience. I'll most likely be using all the files, so I just go ahead and copy the entire set of files into my temp directory. Now I can easily access all the plugin files and delete the temp directory when I'm done. Going back to the README for this plugin, I can see that the instructions look pretty complete. So I'll walk through the instructions here, possibly making minor changes to what I do, since I'm using the AppLaud Eclipse plugin, and these instructions are generic to Eclipse. The first step describes putting the ChildBrowser JavaScript file into the project's www folder and including a reference to it in the HTML file. So back in my project, I'll select the JavaScript file, copy it, and put it into my project's assets www directory. Now I need to include a reference to it in my index.html file. I'll just copy from the README since it's already there. Find the location after my PhoneGap reference and add it. The second step for this plugin says to move the ChildBrowser directory also into my project's www folder. I'll locate the folder from within temp and move it up into the www. Now I'm on the third step, which says to create a directory within the project called this. This is where I can take advantage of the Java support in my project. I'll right-click on the source directory and select New Package to bring up the new Java package wizard. I I can see that the new package will go into my project/source directory, and it's asking for the name. Returning to the README file, I'll copy the name given there without the source part and paste it into the wizard. It will start with com and use periods instead of slashes in between the names. When I click Finish, it'll create all of the directories for me under Source, and I can see it listed here as an empty package. The second part of step 3 says to move ChildBrowser.java into the new package. Locating it here, I'll copy and paste that into the package. If I had mistyped the package name when I created it, I would get an error at this point because it's doing an auto build in the background, and my Java code declares the package name here. It has to match exactly. The last step is adding the new element to the project's plugins.xml file. Plugins.xml is located in the project's res XML directory. The README provides the exact element that I need to add to this file, so I'll simply copy and paste it inside the plugins element and save. This plugin is now completely installed. Sometimes the plugin will need to be initialized, so make sure you read the README instructions. Most likely it will give an example of the init call that will need to go into the device-ready event handler. By putting the init call here, it will get called after PhoneGap is ready. You can also add as many plugins as you need to your app, as long as there is no namespace conflict in the Java or JavaScript code. To quickly demonstrate, I'll add a little code to this app. I'm going to add a button which will use the onClick element to call my function to show a page. I'll copy my pre-canned JavaScript to define the function. I got the code for the plugin straight from the README. Save it. Right-click here to launch on my AVD. Here's my new app with the button I added. Click on the button to open the child browser and show my page. I could continue browsing from here or hit the virtual back button and return to my app. That's it for now. I hope this has been helpful, and bye until next time.